I think for some strange ass reason, immigrants, y'all Somalis think because we black, we supposed to stick with y'all. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We don't share an allegiance because I'm black. Ma'am, I'm an American. There's a big fucking difference. But Theodore Roosevelt said, it ain't but one flag. That's the American flag. He said it ain't but one motherfucking language, and that's the English language. And he said above them all, it ain't but one loyalty, undivided, explicitly, for the United States of America. If that ain't what the fuck you about, then you ain't about what I'm about. Being an American, first and only, honey. Not nothing in front of it, not no stipulations behind it. We not the same.
Misunderstanding between the Somali kiddos and the African American. With Black History Month starting tomorrow, I wholeheartedly believe that we have an opportunity and a responsibility to bring our young people together to create safe, brave spaces where they can learn about one another. I am tired of seeing Black students fighting each other. And if you're an educator, I invite you to please do your part in creating opportunities for students to learn about one another, to relate to one another. Because when we don't do that work, young people end up fighting. They end up having misunderstandings and turning those misunderstandings into...
Yo, Democrats, so if Somalians can't make Somali great and successful, why do you think they're going to come here and make America successful? How dare they come to America and make us assimilate to them? Now they're in office trying to shape the laws around their culture. Like, come on, get a grip of yourself, Democrats.
Hey everybody, how everyone doing this morning or this afternoon? Yeah, I just wanted to come on here real quick. I don't have 2 cents. I just got 1 cent right now. But I just want to come on here and just say something to the Somalis that are living in the United States. As a matter of fact, anybody that was not born here, family hasn't been here for hundreds of years via whatever, you know, don't disrespect the people of a country. I can't move to Japan. The Japanese people has made it possible for me to come to Japan and, let's say, have a better life. They did that. Then I'm going to sit back and criticize the Japanese to think that I'm better than them? That's what this is, guys.
When I think about all of the accomplishment my people made in this country, whether it is scamming, whether it is achieving businesses the right way, the halal way, whether it is stealing from you directly, I don't think it's any of your business. Everything that we have is owed to us, is tied to us, is our benefit. And he say our country is poor and garbage and Somalis are garbage. How can you say we are garbage when you have cousins in Arkansas that live in $200 rent and they cannot even afford? I promise you, Minnesota Somalis, we are come in peace. We don't want nothing from you except maybe your money. How about that?
For years, many Somali immigrants walked into America with the belief that they were different, that they were better, that they were above the struggle of Black Americans. They came with pride, with culture, with identity, and that's beautiful. But somewhere along the way, a mindset was formed. We are not like African Americans. We are not black like them. We work harder, we stay out of trouble, and we are better. But now, that mindset is shattering piece by piece, as Somalis finally learn the real raw, uncensored history of Black Americans. And the truth is hitting harder than they ever expected.
Hey everybody, how everyone doing this morning or this afternoon? Yeah, I just wanted to come on here real quick. I don't have 2 cents. I just got 1 cent right now. But I just want to come on here and just say something to the Somalis that are living in the United States. As a matter of fact, anybody that was not born here, family hasn't been here for hundreds of years via whatever, you know, don't disrespect the people of a country. I can't move to Japan. The Japanese people has made it possible for me to come to Japan and, let's say, have a better life. They did that. Then I'm going to sit back and criticize the Japanese to think that I'm better than them? That's what this is, guys. You can't come here on what we built. African Americans, descendants of slaves in this country. They built this country. If it was not for the slave trade, there would be no United States of America. The slavery was evil. Inhumane. But our people suffered through that, working for nothing, working for free, to build a pathway, so that one day their descendants, like I am a descendant of slaves, will have a better life than them. They knew they weren't going to have a better life. It was just building a path. So you don't come and disrespect that. You don't come here, you check the block, because, you black, but then you go out and you criticize us, think you better than us, think you whatever than us. From what I see, you guys are, a lot of y'all are just saying that, but con artists. And I'm not putting that with every African, because it's not, because let me tell you something. I had a friend from Uganda. She was so sweet. She was so sweet. She was kind. She was so sweet. It's not everybody, and I know it's not even every Somali, right? Just like it's not it's not everyone in any group that are doing stupid crap. But you people, you on your own. Okay, this is not about black Americans. Even if ICE stop me, I got my passport. I'm an American citizen. Birth certificate. Guess what? They may hold me for. They're gonna have to release my black ass because I'm an American citizen. Right? We black. Listen up. Latinos, Africans, Europeans, anybody that came from another country, Americans, we cannot be deported. We can't. There's nowhere for us to go. We know that y'all would love to see black people get deported, but we can't get deported because we are Americans. Just remember that. So, if you want us to stand with you, then you need to stand with us. And not only do you need to stand with us, you need to respect us. Because it's one thing that we're not going for is disrespect. Okay? We will light you up for disrespect. We gotta put up with disrespect from the white people. We gotta put up with a little disrespect from the Latinos, and all this and all that. And now we gotta put up with y'all disrespect us? Come on. We ain't going nowhere. Okay? We ain't going nowhere. But Trump is going to round y'all up. So, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. I don't know whether you wait for them to come and get you, or get on a plane or a boat or whatever and try to go back to Somalia. Do whatever you got to do. But just know, Trump is coming for y'all. And you know what this black woman going to be doing? Sitting here watching it, saying, I'm going to say, That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to say, same thing I say for the Latinos. I say, That's what I do. I continue on my day. Alright, y'all have a good day.
Black American, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. The proof is in the pudding. Black and American. Them nails y'all be putting on, them earrings y'all be putting on, the way y'all put y'all clothes on, the sleigh, that's me and my people. So I don't give a fuck what you talking about. I'm Black American.
So you had this situation online where it's African Americans versus Black immigrants. You have this, popular online movement, FBA, and I've done multiple videos about them. And that movement foments hatred, it foments division among Black people. And so the recent example that we have is this situation involving statements that President Trump made against the Somalian people in America. He basically said that they are garbage and he doesn't want them in America. He wants them to leave America. He went on to say that their country stinks. He went on and on to make these disparaging remarks, and he basically said the Representative Omar is garbage as well. And so there have been some videos that African Americans have done where they have pointed out statements that Somalians have made when it comes to being Black, for instance. There are multiple videos on social media where Somalians say that they're not Black. They try to distinguish themselves from other African people by saying that they're not Black. And then also, I saw a video of this imam basically complaining about African Americans and making disparaging remarks about African Americans. This is an imam. You're supposed to believe in the brotherhood of humanity and stuff in Islam. But instead of promoting brotherhood, this man promoted prejudice and bigotry against African Americans by referring to, basically saying that African Americans don't know who their fathers are, that most of African Americans are products of one-night stands. Total nonsense, total garbage, total propaganda. And then you also had a video clip of these Somalians rallying behind Trump before these controversial remarks were made. They attended this pro-Trump rally where they're talking about they support Donald Trump. And then you had this other guy that did a recent interview on CNN responding to these statements that Donald Trump made. A Trump supporter, the Somalian Trump supporter. And so some people are using those video clips to basically say, well, we don't care what happens to Somalian immigrants. We don't give a damn about them since they don't care about us. And I think that this is what people like Donald Trump want to see. They want to see people of color fighting each other instead of fighting Donald Trump. They love to see that. They love to see Black people at each other's throats. When the fact of the matter is, this white man doesn't make these same distinctions that we make. He doesn't see any difference between Somalians and African Americans. When the police stop you and harass you and brutalize you, they don't ask you what nation you come from, what your nationality is. They don't give a damn about that. They didn't give a damn about Amadou Diallo or Abner Lawima being immigrants. They don't care nothing about that. There are multiple examples of Black immigrants that are treated just like African Americans. So we need to stop this infighting. And it's a product of ignorance that's being promoted on both sides. Ignorance that's being promoted among immigrants to look down upon African Americans, and ignorance among African Americans to despise other Black people. Ignorance perpetuated by groups like FBA, which is probably a MAGA Trump front organization. It's pro-MAGA. They defend MAGA while they have all these horrible things to say about Obama and Kamala Harris. And they're being exposed for the right-wing movement they are. They are imitation white supremacists. And it's just sad to see people on both sides playing into this bitter conflict. Now, it's one thing to expose the fact that some of these immigrants have effed around and they found out. Some of them supported Donald Trump, and now they're finding out how foolish that was to do. And it's right for people to point that out. But it's one thing to point that out, and it's quite another thing to tell people that you don't care if they get deported, you don't care what happens to them. Because the fact of the matter is the same ICE agents that harassed the immigrant community are the same ICE agents that came to Chicago and harassed black people, black American people. These ICE agents are racially profiling people, and black people are caught up in that racial profiling that's going on. Just as Donald Trump, hates these Somalian people, he also said that there are other countries that fit that same description. And we know about the statements that he made about African countries, calling them shithole countries, called Haiti shithole country. But yet and still we're fighting with each other. And if he looks upon our motherland of Africa as being a shithole, what do you think that he thinks about you as a black man? So I just think that it's time for us to end the ignorance and end the infighting and unite against a common enemy. And the fact of the matter is those video clips that we've seen of Somalians saying this and that, those don't necessarily reflect the views of most Somalian immigrants. Just because we saw some people on stage with Donald Trump, that doesn't mean that most of the Somalian people rallied behind Donald Trump or supported Donald Trump. As we know, Representative Omar is a Democrat elected from a majority Somali population. So, yeah, I just had to say this, man. We should not allow ourselves to play into division against one another. The immigrants and African Americans and other marginalized people need to unite against a common enemy. And that common enemy is Donald Trump.
I have a whole lot to say about this Somalian situation. So I have a question. If there's someone or a group of people disrespecting you, right, but you still feel the need to defend for them for some sort of reason, doesn't that make you a punk? Now, I understand people want to defend for the illegals. I get it because of how it looks and everything. But again, if a group of people is disrespecting another group of people, but yet they claim that we're supposed to defend for them and be alongside with them because we so-called look alike, but we're not the same. So if that group, the Somalian group, they disrespecting black people, as a black American, okay, and after what my ancestors went through, okay, after all that they went through, why would I defend for them? Won't that make me look like a cop-out, a sellout to my own race of people? Now, to be clear, I do not idolize my race or nothing like that at all. However, I don't negate the history of my culture. I don't negate any of that at all. Because if it wasn't for the black culture, we would not see what we see today as far as fashion, everything, right? We would not be able to experience the labor, the fruits of the labor, everything else within this world, within the United States and everything else like that, whatever. So if I'm defending for a group of people who is constantly disrespecting us, but yet at the same time, it's like they acquire for us to defend for them, that makes me a punk, does it not? I don't know. Y'all can let me know, but I feel like that's a bit of a cop-out. Straight up. And again, no matter if you're an independent, conservative, or Republican, okay? If you're black in America, okay? We need to stand up against this because how they disrespecting us is not right, period. Why we should not be defending for these people? No.
My name is Salma. I am a Somali woman who lives in Minnesota. And for the longest time, I have heard that Somali people don't like African Americans, that African Americans don't like Somali people. That frustrates me because I know that there is diversity within the Somali culture and there is diversity within the African American community. No one represents the entire community. My views are my views. And I want you all to know that Somali people are diverse people. And that in America, we must acknowledge that as Somalis, I have access to opportunities because of the civil rights movement and the sacrifices that our African Americans, brothers and sisters, have done. I have to do a better job of learning. And for our African American brothers and sisters, please know that we do not believe that we're better than you. Racism wants us to be divided, wants us to hate each other. We are powerful together. I'm tired of seeing our youth fighting in the schools or in the community. We are two communities who have different histories, and there are shared experiences in America. So for all the folks who are out there wondering if Somali people don't like African Americans, I just want you to know that is a myth. That is not true. As Muslims, we are taught in humanity. If one person is hurting, it's like all of humanity is hurting. And again, I know that Muslim people, Somali people are not perfect. So there are people who represent themselves, may not be following the teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah of our Prophet, peace be upon him. And those people, they represent themselves. So please, let's work together to eliminate this narrative, this very toxic, dangerous narrative that keeps us from connecting with one another.
Look, y'all, I'm about to dead this comment. I'm about to dead it. Somali people know exactly where they come from, unlike some Black Americans who, due to history, may not have clear roots. You thought you ate, but you didn't. Let me tell you something. You are going off the colonial state of mind, brother. Black people in America know exactly where they come from. We know that we're exactly from America. Y'all the ones that think that we just got here 300, 400 years ago. But if you read your history, which I'm about to start giving y'all some history lessons on this live tonight, complete with pictures, references, and the $40,000 books where I get my facts. If you guys would drop your colonial state of mind and do research outside of what colonialism tells you to do, you would know that many Black families have been here for thousands of years. Thousands. I'm not talking about hundreds. I'm talking about thousands. I'm talking about when British came to invade back in the 1200s, 1100s, thousands, the 900s. When Britain came to invade, they wrote books about it. They did maps about it. They drew pictures about it. We are from here. And that's the problem, because y'all ain't willing to educate yourself. Y'all just willing to spew out some shit that white people didn't taught y'all, but that ain't even what it is, baby. My grandma, my particular grandma, her family been down there in Alabama for thousands of years before the invaders. Do you know how many families came to invade our prosperous land that you guys are acting like y'all don't know Black people is from? Do you know? Do you know? 13 families. 13. It took 13 different invasions for us to get here. So y'all really need to educate yourself, because y'all just saying shit that y'all heard, and that's like proves that your mind is just like a receiver. It doesn't even go and find its own information or process. You know what I'm saying? And that's what American education will get you, baby. That's what a colonialized education will get you. But if you research, follow me. Matter of fact, you don't got to follow me. I'm going to do the research and show you the references, baby. Because I'm so tired of this comment. Black people don't know where they're from due to their history. The thing about it is, Black people's history is in their DNA. We're remembering more and more shit every day. We're finding more and more shit every day. Black people, hundreds of us, have researched on our own time. Yeah, I got an associate's degree. Yeah, I got a bachelor's degree. But guess what I've been doing for the last 20 years? Researching my bloodline, researching the history of this planet, researching physics. You need to research all types of shit to figure out if Black people know what they're talking about. Because we do. We do. We do. And yes, there are, I'm not going to say oh, there's no Black people that came over here 400 years ago and was in slavery. Yes, they were. And I don't think they should get reparations, but I'm going to talk about all that on my live tonight at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I hope you're there. I'll be bringing every book I've ever read. I'll be dropping every piece of knowledge. I'll be letting you guys know about all the traps that they're setting up for you. Be there or be square. Or be dumb. And let me add this little bit of fact in there for you. Y'all be screaming, Somalis know where they from. Somalis know where they from. Somalis know where they from. But they don't. Did you know that? They don't. They don't. You know how many times Somalia has been invaded and the people have been dragged somewhere else on that continent? Do you know how many times that country's been invaded? The people there right now are a mix of Arabs and Black and Asian. Did you know that? That's how many times. That doesn't make them Somalian. Did you know that? That doesn't make them Somalian. That makes them a lost tribe, clinging on to the invaders, like the invaders' nationality, what the invaders called them, what the invaders told them they are. So y'all really need to dead that, because around smart, foundational Black Americans, that should sound like puppy chow. We gonna eat it up every time. I'll see y'all at 5.
What I'm witnessing right now with the Somalians out there in Minnesota and all the issues that they're dealing with Trump and deportation, is a prime example. Their response to it is a prime example of why FBAs call Black immigrants tethers. I'm sorry, I'm not one to use that word, but I can see what they mean, because to tether means to attach yourself to something. And right now I see a lot of Somalians who have never considered themselves Black attaching themselves to Black Americans as a way of deflecting what's happening to them and saying like, oh, we're all Black and he's doing the same thing to us because we're Black, just like Black Americans. Listen to this.
President Trump and the base that is attacking our community. We understand that you are here to divide us, to create fear amongst us, and to selectively target the Blackest immigrant and Muslim community in this great state. President Trump has had a history of targeting Black people long before he ever ran for any office.
Yeah, Trump targeted Black people. We all know that. But when y'all came here to this country, Black people was like, oh, good, with more Black people, you know, come with us. And we tried to show you what it was like here. We tried to explain to you what was going on, and we were rejected. Like, let's not rewrite history. I know what happened. Y'all made your own communities. Y'all said you had your own culture, separate from us. So now that you're in trouble, you want to claim Blackness? You want to say that Trump already was targeting Black people? Us? He wasn't targeting you then. You're not Black, right? Like, it's a tether. That's a tether. That right there. If you ever wondered what a tether was, that.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. When Somalis first arrived in the US, many couldn't understand why Black Americans struggled. Why were they so angry? Why were they fighting the system? Why were they demanding justice? And why didn't they just work harder like them? Some even said openly, we succeed because we are disciplined. Unlike African Americans, we never went through what they went through. They believed African Americans had no excuses, but that was only because they never knew the truth. Then came social media. Then came conversations, documentaries, and real-life experiences. Somalis started hearing the real stories of Black Americans whose ancestors built this country for free, families who survived slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, and lynchings, generations denied land, wealth, education, and basic human rights, entire communities destroyed by government programs, Black Wall Street bombed, leaders unalived, freed people re-enslaved through prisons, then systemic racism following them for 400 years. Slowly, the Somali community began saying, we were never taught this. We didn't know Black Americans went through all this. For the first time, many Somalis saw African Americans not as lazy or complaining, but as survivors, still fighting despite centuries of oppression. Then came the shocker. Somalis realized something powerful. Every success immigrants enjoy today, education, jobs, voting rights, business opportunities, exist only because Black Americans fought for them. Civil rights, voting rights, fair housing, and equal employment, all fighted for by Black Americans. Somalis arrived in a world that African Americans bled for. Their success was built on the back of black struggle. That's when the pride faded and then respect grew. Somalis began to understand black Americans are not less than, they are not behind, they are not the problem. They are the reason immigrants, including them, can thrive. Suddenly, the arrogance disappeared. Suddenly, the insults like a cutter, they complain too much, we are not like them, stop making sense. Somalis started realizing they were wrong about black Americans. Now the Somali community is waking up to some heavy truths. Black Americans built the culture, black Americans built the music, black Americans built the rights system, black Americans built the social justice blueprint, and black Americans built the entire foundation immigrants now stand on. And the biggest truth of it all, black Americans never needed validation, but immigrants needed black Americans more than they ever understood. And now the narrative is shifting. Somalis are no longer saying they are better. They are saying they didn't know, they misunderstood, and they respect them now. Because once you learn the true history of black Americans, you cannot look down on them again. Today, Somali youth are reading the books, watching the documentaries, listening to the stories, and finally understanding that black Americans are the blueprint for resistance, the backbone of American rights, and people who endured the impossible and still stand tall. Now, Somalis realize they are not better than black Americans. They are simply standing on the foundation built by a people who never broke. Respect is finally flowing where it should have been from the beginning. Because once the truth is revealed, everybody sees black Americans differently. Thank you for watching. This is Mercy Realities.